Alright, you guys are in for a very wild ride today. There is going to be a lot of salt, and I hope that you have brought some popcorn for today. So, it will be time to use the Apocalypse Striker for a little bit. I know a lot of you wanted me to use this ship to blow up some ships, and I am more than happy to make that happen. Now, I've had this ship for several months now. I did use it for PvP for a short time, but quickly went for the Balgorn, and the Apocalypse Striker still has a very valuable place in my fleet. Now, this ship hasn't been really changed in a very long time. The stats are still, generally speaking, the same. The Apocalypse Striker has very nice tracking, and it has very nice overall laser damage. It has 8 high slots, which means that you should be able to deliver a lot of DPS with this ship. Now let me just quickly do something over here. I have to do something on my alt account in a second. Now I use the alt account for scouting purposes, and very soon I'll use this alt account for logistic purposes, and I will show you that very soon. Very useful to have this little Android virtual machine. You can easily run multiple instances of the game. Okay, let me go back home on the alt account, autopilot enabled, and now I can turn this off and go back to the Apocalypse Striker. Now you might notice I have the Blood Raider nanocore. This is a gift from a friend, and this is my current build on the ship, 2316 DPS. Now this is a very cheap Apocalypse. Basically, if I end up losing this ship, it's not going to be that expensive. I use pulse lasers, C-types, 60.73 km optimal range, 8.48 is the tracking speed. Now, the Apocalypse is one of those ships that I personally don't want to tackle if I'm flying a cruiser, because these things, they track, and if you're anywhere near their optimal range, and if they have at least even one tracking computer, you can expect to be receiving a lot of damage from these things. The Apocalypse Striker is one of the more dangerous ships to tackle in low sec. Now let me show you the active stats of this thing. I have several builds for the Apocalypse. Mainly I am using the DPS build or sniper build. However, I will develop a tank build. However, I don't feel like this ship will perform really well as a tank. The Apocalypse isn't really built for tanking. Now let's take a look at the active stats. 3383.60 DPS in siege mode with 1 heatsink. The DPS is 3.8 and with the second heatsink the DPS is 4.3 which is honestly really nice for only 2 heatsinks. And keep in mind this is at 60 kilometers, so overall very solid DPS. With triple tracking computers, the range is 145 kilometers, accuracy of 22.2, track speed 0.42 inside of the siege mode. Of course, if you want full tracking, you will not be using the siege mode unless the target is really far away or the target is webbed. In siege mode, you will not be hitting moving targets with the Apocalypse or with any other striker unless they're webbed and scrambled. Now with 3 heatsinks, the DPS is a little bit higher, 2.4 and now let me check out the active stats. On this ship I actually prefer more tracking over more raw DPS, but both have their use, and in some cases having higher DPS is better, in some cases having better tracking is more important. Now let's take a look at the siege mode. 3.5 thousand, not bad. 4055, with the second heatsink it's 4,500, and with the third heatsink it's 4,883.54 DPS, which is honestly really solid for the
Docking
ship.
request
And of course
accepted.
the tracking will be almost the same, but a little bit lower because only 2 tracking computers on this ship with that build. Okay, now I did say that I will make a tank build, and I don't really like to use a tank build on the Apocalypse. It feels a little bit weird. However, in some cases, when I did use the tank build, it did feel tanky, more tanky than it actually is, and that is a very odd situation. And let me just quickly find some armor repairs. Unfortunately no C-types, not really sure what happened with my C-types here, but this is one way to tank fit the Apocalypse Striker. 2 adaptive, 1 reactive, and dual armor repairs. Now the tank, the capacitor of the Apocalypse is it's okay, but lasers do use a lot of capacitor, so Nosferatus would be a smart choice if you have a tank built on this ship, or capacitor batteries. Now, with the current build, the resistance values are not really that impressive. 70, 75, 75, 72, 67 and 65%, which is honestly not that impressive. Some of the other ships that I did fly had a lot higher stats, but at the same time they also had a different build. You can technically make this ship super
Docking
tanky,
request
but
accepted.
I prefer to run the Apocalypse with the DPS rigs. Now you can replace 1 armor repair into a damage control. Let me quickly find the damage control. Okay, there it is, which will give you a nice little passive boost, but you will lose 1 armor repair, and that means you will repair armor slower, but technically you should be taking less damage. And of course you get the panic button on the damage control, which should give you about 90-92% resistance for 13 seconds. Well, this is a little bit better, but still nothing out of, nothing too special. And with the damage control, the stats will be 93, 90, 89 and 88%, which is okay. But again, some of the other ships had higher stats. So, let me
docking request accepted.
Dock. And there's one more thing that I would like to do here before we actually start yeeting some ships. I also want first to return the original build for full-on DPS, and then I will go and buy a new nanocore for the ship. I will have 2 nanocores. I will use both of them, and I already have a idea for the Blood Raider one, and I also have a idea for the new one that I will use. Okay, 3 tracking computers. This should be nice. Alright, so we have received the Trailblazer nanocores recently, and well, I think it's time to reward this little ship with a nanocore. The Apocalypse Striker, this is performing really well lately, and this would be my gift to the ship because it does deserve to have multiple cores. Okay, this has been bought. Imperial Battleship nanocore. Now let's quickly equip that, and let's take a look at how that core will look on the ship. Now I like the Blood Raider nanocore, and I think that it's the best looking nanocore for the Apocalypse or for any other Amar ship like the Balagorn, and I like the Blood Raider camouflage. Okay, let's go and quickly equip that. The Blood Raider nanocore is really good, and I have a very nice idea for it that you will see soon enough. Okay, there is the nanocore. I think I'll go with extra laser damage. Yeah, this is the option that I will go for. Custom appearance, let's go with the Trailblazer bonus. And let me quickly adjust the color of this ship. I like to make my ships look as menacing as possible. That means it has to have colors that do look menacing. In most cases, a combination of red, yellow, black. And I think this looks nice, although I like the metallic look of the red color there. I think I'll just keep the metallic red, looks nice. And the lights, I think I'll keep them red as well. Yeah, I'll keep this. It looks nice. I like it. Okay, well, the Apocalypse has received 2 new nanocores. And yeah, this looks nice. However, I still kind of prefer the Blood Raider nanocore because you also get the Blood Raider signs on the insignias on the ship. Well then, I think it will be time to have some fun with the Apocalypse. Now the first target for today is surprisingly a Dreadnought. And I think this is like the second or third time that a Dreadnought has appeared nearby. So we are going to check out to see what's happening here. The Dreadnought is at the low sec gate. They have jumped through, they have been webbed on the gate, not really close to the gate, but around. And if we are lucky, we might be able to shoot down the Dreadnought before the Dreadnought does go back to the gate. Now, unfortunately, this was the bad warpin, so I will have to return back to the gate over there. And I think that we don't have the exact ships for the job here, unfortunately, because this just happened all of a sudden, and basically everyone coming with the ship that they have logged out with, so not really the ideal situation for us, but we will see what we can do with what we have. Okay,
Warp drive active.
At 100, and this is not a good position to be at, so I will go to that gate over there and we'll return. I forgot that I have pulse lasers, although I have good range. It's not really beam laser range, so can't really stay at 100 kilometers with this ship, so have to warp a little bit closer in order to orbit the capital ship. Okay, ship is turning around. The Apocalypse is surprisingly not that slow. It's definitely one of the faster big ships in the game, and that's one of the aspects that I really like about this ship. It's actually not that slow. Orbit set at, let's go with 25 kilometers. Should be around that distance when I land. The Dreadnought is slowly moving to the gate. I think we might actually be a little bit too late with our response. Again, I think the time zone difference is kicking in hard here, but it's okay. Well, I almost nailed the distance. It's not 25, it's 28 kilometers, 29 kilometers from the Dreadnought. I will orbit with the micro warp drive. A neon rain dreadnought right over here, very interesting. And there is a lot of tracking disruptors on that capital ship, so I should be safe at this distance. We will see. If I get yeeted off the grid, well, I'll know that I wasn't safe. Just in case, if that happens, I will have a quick warp out. Again, this thing does warp fairly fast. However, the dreadnought did not lock me this time, so I might actually get to use the siege mode here. This is the moment where I wish that I had more heatsinks. Again, did not have time to change the build, rushed here as quickly as possible with the ship that I had in the station. If I had more heatsinks, I would be delivering a lot more damage, but I think this is also nice. Based on the damage that the capital ship is taking, I would guess 77-80% resistance. Perhaps they have a reactive shield hardener that does reduce the damage from lasers a lot. Although I expect a lot of capacitor batteries. This is the moment where I wish that I didn't sell my Balgorn, because a Balgorn fleet can easily cap out a capital ship with quad capacitor batteries. We have tested that out with our own capital ships that have nearly maxed out skills, and that tactic did work really well. However, unfortunately, we don't have that many Balgorns this time. I'm doing some decent damage with the siege mode. Would be a lot more if I had quad heatsinks, but it is what it is. Have to work with what I have. The dreadnought is slowly moving to the gate. They're around 6 kilometers away from the gate, unfortunately, so there is a high chance that the dreadnought will reach the gate before we have any good chance at emptying its capacitor. Makes you really appreciate the Balgorn fleet, because a Balgorn fleet with full Nosferatu and neutralizer is a capital ship's worst nightmare. Perhaps I will buy a Balgorn soon, who knows? I don't feel like flying that ship, to be honest. I changed my orbit to 50 kilometers just in case. There is a big chance that Dreadnought did call for backup. Actually, if you ask me, there's probably a fleet already heading towards this location, so if we don't manage to shoot this thing down, we will have to warp away. However, I think that we already kind of failed, because I see that the capital ship is really close to the gate. Perhaps they did use the afterburner or micro drive to quickly burn to the gate. It actually works. The inertia from the siege mode on the dreadnought does allow you to basically ignore the webs. Even the Serpentis webs will have no effect against that, because your ship will slowly glide towards the gate, even when heavily webbed, because of the extra mass that you get from the siege mode, which is a very interesting tactic that you can use with your capital ship if you accidentally jump into a gate camp. I know that we do that quite often, so we use that trick. Even if your dread is moving like 70 meters per second, you are reaching the gate and nothing can stop you. One very interesting little thing that works with these capital ships. Okay, now the dreadnought is around 4 kilometers away from the gate, and I've heard that a Cinnabel fleet is heading towards our location, so that means it will be time to go soon. Unfortunately, we did not have the right ships for the job. If we had a little bit more Balgorns on the gate, the capacitor on that ship would have been depleted, but I guess at this late hour it was pretty impressive that we even gathered this many players. Usually at this hour it's very quiet because of the time zone differences, but I guess everyone wants a piece of a dreadnought, so that's a very interesting little thing. Now, our dreadnought is doing some really good damage on the capital ship, so they're definitely using the classic quad or triple capacitor battery setup with, I would say, dual capital shield boosters. The rigs are definitely for full tank, and I'm pretty sure they're also using a rig to improve shield booster performance based on how much shield the dreadnought is recovering. So basically, if you bring enough DPS and enough Balgorns, then the Mimitar dreadnought will slowly fall down. But unfortunately, again, we just didn't have the right ships for the job here. Now, I've heard that the Cinnabel fleet is next door, right at this gate, and they are preparing to jump in. Now I did swap between the siege mode and the normal mode just to have some speed going, just in case if the dreadnought makes me the primary target, but so far I didn't notice them even attempting to lock on. However, you don't know if that's what's actually happening or if the overview has glitched out, so just in case the overview is glitching out, I did swap between the siege mode and the normal mode to maintain some form of speed, just in case I have to warp out. Okay, I think. Okay, let me just do a little check here. I thought that I was in the bubble for a second. I'm right at the edge of the bubble. In this case, tracking computers are not really a best option because you don't really need a lot of tracking to hit a capital ship. In this case, if you have to fight a dreadnought, and if you are in a apocalypse striker, go full heatsinks or one tracking computer just in case if anything small pops in. But full heatsinks is the way for a situation like this. Well, the dreadnought is now right at 0 from the gate, so we kind of failed with our mission here. However, it was a nice attempt anyway, which means I will prepare myself to slowly warp out because, well, the dreadnought can jump through the gate at any given moment. Perhaps I should have... Maybe I should have taken my revelation for this. Now I kinda regret forgetting about the revelation. I just realized that I have my own dreadnought that I could have used for this. I totally forgot that I had a dreadnought. Oh well, next time I guess. Look at that Vexor trainer. What is that Vexor doing there? Okay, time for me to warp out, or to prepare to warp out. Because the dreadnought is already at 0. And the Vexor has been eliminated. Okay, well, that was definitely a very nice attempt, but unfortunately we just did not have the right ships for the job. If we had the Balagon fleet at standby, and if I was smart enough to actually realize that I have a revelation, then this might have been a little bit different, but it was a nice attempt for a quick response in this late hour. It was really late actually. I was half asleep on the gate before someone wrote in local that there's a dreadnought. That woke me up. That woke me up pretty good, but I was, I guess, still kind of asleep to forget that I have a capital ship that I could have used in this situation. And I warped to the wrong gate. Oh well, that's typical me. Alright, what do we have here? We have a battlecruiser. Well, Apocalypse Striker does have very nice tracking. There goes the shield. Now there goes the armor. The battlecruiser is now into hull. And it looks like the battlecruiser is slipping out. Interesting. They are moving at 2.5 kilometers per second, approaching to 3 kilometers per second. That battlecruiser is using a large micro warp drive. That's interesting. Now they're far away from my optimal range, even with the tracking computers all active, so I will try to... yeah, I'm not going to hit that at 200 kilometers, that's for sure. That was a dumb move. I should have saved the tracking computers for a different moment. Okay, had to... I just realized I wasn't in the right fleet. Okay, now that's much better. Now I have an idea. My corp mates can go to 100 kilometers, 150 kilometers, and then I can warp to them, and then I should be in range to hit the battlecruiser. Okay, they are moving the battlecruiser towards my direction. That's a good idea. I should have 145 kilometer range with the pulse lasers, but oh, I have the wrong implant. I just realized that. Okay, fair enough. Now the battlecruiser should be in range. I will approach. The computer cooldown ends in 37 seconds, so once that is active, I should be able to hit this ship. And they have a medium shield booster. Yeah, I have the wrong implant. It should be 60 kilometers, but it's 53 kilometers. Those 70 kilometers are really important. Let me see if I can burn back to the gate a little bit and then warp. I think that's the smartest thing to do, but at this moment I think that it's a little bit too late for that. Have to identify the right decision for the right moment, and I think in this case I should just keep on burning towards the battlecruiser. Now I seem like to be in range. Or not. $105 kilometers. Okay, they have been scrambled. Now I will approach the battlecruiser a lot faster. Cooldown on the tracking computers ends in 31 seconds. Now they should be in the range of the tracking computers. And the battlecruiser has been destroyed. Okay. 158 kilometers from the gate. Well, let's return.
Warp drive
That was
active.
a very nice chase. I'm pretty sure they have used a large micro drift, but we will see. 387 million, almost 388. Large micro drive, 2 scramblers and 1 disruptor. Well, that was a nice chase. Next target, we have a RB3 cover tops. Okay. Now that ship is moving at looks like 3.54 kilometers per second, and if I were to use all 3 tracking computers, I would hit the target. But I have a different plan for this. For this cover tops, I'll be patient. I will wait. I have an idea. Let's follow the blue line, and once the blue line is low, then you open fire, and that was nice. 1 hit, 2nd hit. The shield of the Arby has been removed. Now the Arby is into armor. Arby moving at full speed. Okay. Tracking computers on cooldown. That one tracking disruptor doesn't do much at this range, basically no effect, so it doesn't affect the tracking. We are playing the waiting game here. Who has higher patience, the Arby or the Apocalypse? Who will make the mistake first? The pilot who makes the first mistake loses the ship. That's how this game works, and that's how the game will work. Okay, that was a nice hit on armor. The Arby is now into hull, and the Arby has been yeeted. That was a very fun kill. Okay, let's take a look at the kill. 1.8 billion. Hold a second. 11.8 billion. My bad. Tier 4 rigs for range. That's a very odd build indeed. Very odd build. Didn't feel like the Arby had a lot of DPS, and that explains why. The Arby had full range, but you don't try to play the sniping game with a Apocalypse striker that's built for sniping. The Apocalypse does yeet very hard at long range. Okay, now we have a incoming humpback combat, very rare ship that I can't wait to shoot at. Okay, they have jumped through the gate. I have enabled the siege mode for full yeet performance. Should be able to track that ship. It's after all a humpback. They're pretty big. 29 kilometers. Okay. 16,000 first hit. 10,000 second hit. Second tracking computer active. 10,000 low armor. 10,000 low hull. And the humpback has been destroyed. That was nice. That was a very nice work as well. Let's take a look at the kill. 4.8 billion. Oh my god, that's a lot of stuff in the cargo hold of this thing. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff in the cargo. This actually cost as much as a Orca. And we got some B-types. Okay, not bad. A very solid loot drop. That's about, my estimate, maybe 800, 700 million, something like that. I really wish that rigs, nanocores, and all the stuff that doesn't drop actually drops. We would be making about, I don't know, 2 billion, 3 billion from that kill, if those things would actually drop. Next target we have a Macarial. Macarial doesn't seem to have a nanocore. Well, let's quickly meet this ship. That's a big hit on the shield. That's a big hit on the armor, and that's a big hit on hull. And the Macarial has been yeeted. You know, it's a good day when you blow up a faction battleship, a very expensive Arby, and a humpback full with cargo. That's already a lot of kills. That's already a lot of ISK destroyed. 3.5 billion. Now what is wrong with this Macarial? Looks like this ship does miss rigs, it does miss medium slot modules, low slot modules, and they do miss high slot modules. Very interesting. Not really sure what's happening with that one, but okay. Not really sure why the modules were missing as well. Next we have a incoming Ashimo. It's very nice to have the alt account over there on the second client. You can see the ships that are incoming and take the appropriate action to the incoming ship. I will show you how that works. It's a very interesting and fun thing to do. Okay, there is the Ashimo. The Ashimo is trying to burn to the gate. Well, that means full-on yeet performance on the Apocalypse. All heat sinks active and all tracking computers active. And the Ashimo has been destroyed. Nice. That was a lovely kill. I like to fly blooded ships, but I also love to shoot them down. They're quite expensive sometimes. Okay, let's take a look at the inside of the wreck and of the... Let's take a look at the kill first. 1.3 billion armor tank Ashimo. However, only one medium armor repair. Now the Ashimo is actually a pretty good ship. It's a really nice ship, and with the right build you can actually use up to 3 large modules. Booster, Nosferatu, and I think you can actually run dual Nosferatus on the Ashimo, dual large Nosferatus with the right build. So a medium armor repair, well, could work. I will still slap a large armor repair on the Ashimo because it could repair a lot, and the capacitor of that ship is also super stable. And poor frigate that just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Well, that castle is now back at Yeetus, the quick way, teleport way, the holy laser way. Okay, let's go and see what's the next target. We have a Vigilant that's incoming. Vigilant is slowly moving. First hit removed the shield. Second hit almost removed the armor. And well, the last hit removed the shield from removed the ship from existence. Okay, let's take a look at the kill. What in the... what kind of build is this? I have no words. What kind of curse is this? I'm getting trolled. I feel like I'm getting trolled here. Yeah, I have no words about this build. Civilian autocans and civilian missile launchers. Let me just quickly remove that pod as well. It's bad luck to have that kind of cursed build around our gate. It's going to scare everything away. Burn it with fire, or in this case, burn with holy lasers. What kind of build was that? That must be one of the weirdest Vigilant builds I've ever seen. The next target, we have a incoming Mordu frigate, a Garmur. Now, let's see if that frigate will make the mistake, and let's see if they will try to kite the Apocalypse with the micro warp drive. The Apocalypse Striker is known to eat ships that use a micro warp drive, especially cruisers. It eats them for breakfast, including frigates. That's why I don't really like to engage these things. They track, and a micro warp drive and speed at long range, even at close distance, will not help. Okay, there is the Mordu frigate, approaching to 48 kilometers. Looks like the Mordu frigate is active. Approaching at 100 kilometers. 70 kilometers to be more accurate. Micro warp drive is enabled. And the frigate is now taking damage. And the frigate is yeeted. Well, this is why you don't turn on a micro warp drive when there is a Apocalypse Striker locking you on. They hit, and they hurt a lot if they hit. 1.495 billion, and this poor Garmur dropped everything that's expensive, even a Mordu debris. That's a beautiful loot drop right there. And this ship was actually integrated as well. That's impressive. Very expensive Mordu frigate as well. Well, that's nice. Looks like a nice payday for us. We made a lot of fisk today, that's for sure. Next target we have a succubus that is going at a 90-degree angle approach to the Apocalypse. That's not going to end well for this ship. And the succubus has been yeeted in one hit. So, I think lesson learned, don't approach the Apocalypse at 90 degrees and don't use a micro warp drive at distance against the Apocalypse Striker. And don't try to snipe a sniping Apocalypse, it's not going to end well. Again, very nice loot drop. Oh, well, we did not get the storyline mission, unfortunately. In any case, a solid succubus kill, not going to complain. Next target, we have a Apocalypse Striker now. Again, I don't like to shoot these things, even when I'm flying one, because yeah, these things are nasty, so always tricky when you have to engage them. Now this Apocalypse seems to be a shield tank. That's a little bit weird because yeah, that's a shield tank Apocalypse. That's interesting. Seems like they are burning to the gate. And somehow this Apocalypse actually reached the gate. You know, that's impressive. That's a very quick Apocalypse. Not really sure how they managed to burn to the gate so quickly. Oh well. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you miss them. It's all part of the game. And I like how some other players get really angry when they miss the target like that, when they jump, when they warp away, when that's all just part of the game. Well then, we have another battleship that's coming here, a Dominic's. And we have a nice welcoming party here for the Dominic's. Well, let's see what happens when they jump in. They're still in the low sec system nearby. Still in warp, probably at the gate by now. They should be jumping any second. And they jumped. Okay, let's see what happens to this Dominic's. I mean, I think most of you know what's about to happen to this Dominic's, but you know, let's see, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, let's focus fire. Dominic's doesn't have a nanocore, so might be a quick kill. Let's turn off the siege mode because they are moving. Let's approach just in case. The shield of the Dominic's is removed. Now they are taking armor damage. Dominic's losing armor. Now into hull. That was a nasty hit on the armor. On the hull, my apologies. And the Dominic's has been destroyed. That was nice. Let's take a look at the wreck and let's take a look at the kill. This ship goes 900 meters per second. It's actually fairly fast. A lot faster than the Belgorn, that's for sure. Oh, what is that? We have a battlecruiser that's warping in. Okay, well that's interesting. We have one more target heading towards our location. Let me get in place, let me get in position. Tracking computers are back online. That's all I need for the next ship that's warping in. Okay, the battlecruiser has jumped in. Well, let's see where the battlecruiser will appear. Okay, excellent distance, right in the optimal range. There goes the shield. There goes the armor. And there goes the ship. Well, that was nice. That was a double kill. First Dominic's and then this tier 8 battlecruiser that jumped in. Overall, pretty solid. Now let me go and loot the wreck, and then we can take a look at the kills on both of these ships. Unless there is a third ship warping in, that's gonna be hilarious if it happens. Okay, let me go back to the main position. Did not mean to lock the gate, but okay, happens. Approach to 0. And now let's take a look at the kills. Dominic's 576 million. A shield tank, okay, full damage, and for some reason they had ballistic controls installed on a drone boat. That's a little bit weird. And the battlecruiser, almost 300 million. Also pretty solid kill. Okay, let me move that into position just like this, and we can go to the next target. We have a incoming Dramiel. A Mahler also warped in. That's surprising. But the Dramiel will be the primary target because the Dramiel is a faction frigate and probably will be way more expensive. However, I have the wrong lasers. I have beam lasers, unfortunately. Not really sure why, but I have beam lasers, and that's not going to hit a Dramiel at that distance, even webbed. Okay, the Dramiel has been destroyed. Let's go and... well, both ships have been destroyed. Very nice. And very smooth as well. How many ships have we destroyed throughout this video today? Well, I stopped counting. A lot. I told you, it's going to be a very salty one. Let's take a look at the Dramiel, 281 million. Okay. And the Mahler. You know, that Mahler actually has a better build than 95% of Mahlers that I actually see. Not really sure why that's the case. Next target, we have a tornado. Siege mode enabled, trajectories enabled, 12,000 hit on the shield. There goes the shield. And well, there goes the ship. That was a very smooth kill in siege mode. When the angle is nice and when the angle is actually properly placed, you can use the siege mode against these ships because they will approach you and the transversal velocity will be very low, so you can easily hit them. 545 million, very solid tornado. Okay, that back in position, and let's wait for the next target. We have a incoming Sunensis. Now these little ships can actually be very expensive. In most cases they are used for exploration, so who knows, perhaps we get some very decent loot right here. Or perhaps it is a 2 million-isk ship. We're about to find out. They're burning through the gate, but I'm not going to let that happen. Or not, they're actually trying to go outside the bubble. Well, that's not going to work. Okay, let's take a look at the kill. 245 million. Actually, really nice. Actually, really nice. Not bad. That's a very expensive destroyer. Next target, we have a incoming Myrmidon. When the screen becomes wide, that's when I play on my phone. When the screen is in this aspect ratio, then that's on the tablet. Depends when the battery runs out on one, then I swap to the other. So far it works really well. There's the Myrmidon, let's quickly lock on. $10,000 hit on the first attempt. Well, that was quick. The Myrmidon has been eliminated in 3 hits. Let's take a look at the kill. 196 million. A decent build. Decent armor tank, although I wish that the player used a large armor repair. That would be a better build on this ship. Actually works really well. Tested it out. The Myrmidon can repair a lot. It's one of the tankier battlecruisers in the game. Next we have a Vexor Navy. Am I going to pop the Vexor Navy in 1 hit? Well, let's find out. Unfortunately, did not pop the ship, but it did go down in 2 hits, which is close enough. $59 million, a cursed build, small armor repair and a shield tank. Just why? That's a weird build. Next we have a transport ship. Crossed fingers for a outpost. Well, that was quick. The Barrage Macariel does do what it does best. It yeets ships in seconds. Unfortunately, it did not drop. Oh, it was a tornado. It was a tornado too that got the ship. Next transport ship. Let's see what happens with this one. It got popped. Okay. Anything good inside of the loot? Well, we're about to find out. Well, unfortunately, not that impressive, but okay, it's okay loot. Let me go and grab that. Can always use extra armor repairs. Especially when I have no idea where I placed my own repairs. Okay, this is looted. Now let's go back to the gate. We have another incoming transport ship. This time it's a Badger 2. Now that thing might actually carry something expensive. I still have my fingers crossed for a free citadel or outpost or something like that. Always exciting when there's a transport ship coming in. You never know what can actually drop. However, we haven't been that lucky lately for some reason. I remember when one of these ships dropped like 5 billion in loot. That was ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous. There goes the Badger 2. back to Yita, the fast route, the fast travel way, holy laser way. 356 million unfortunately was empty, so yeah. Let's return this to its original position and then we can wait for the next target. We have another Vector Navy. Let's see if this Vector is with a good build. I would be surprised if it is. And the Vector has been destroyed. I like the animations on this ship, looked really nice. $46 million. Now this is a better build, definitely a lot better than the previous Vexor. An armor tank and drone DPS. Well, to my surprise or to my shock, there is another transport ship heading our way. That's Tyra number 3 or 4. I think it's number 3. Well, one of these ships will drop a citadel or outpost at one point, so as long as I keep shooting them, there's always a chance that it will be very expensive. At one point we will get lucky, so yeah, I'm going to be shooting these ships every time I get a chance to. Because, you know, the second you let them through, that's going to be a very expensive one. That's just how my luck is nowadays. Okay, let me see if this was better than the previous transport ships that we have destroyed today. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Okay, back to the main screen. Well then, that's another empty transport ship. Interesting. I guess it's not my day today. Nereus hauling another transport ship. I mean, one of these ships has to drop something expensive, right? They survived the first hit. That was nice. Let's take a look at the kill. Again, wrong click, my apologies. Okay, much better. 59 million. It was empty. Civilian miners. Okay. Well, let's go to the next kill. Next target. But first, let's get this into place. There is another malware that popped in. Let's quickly remove that. There was a maelstrom in the low stack system, but unfortunately the maelstrom, I think it logged out or it jumped out. Didn't really pay much attention, so I expected the maelstrom to pop in, but unfortunately it was only a malware. Oh well. For a second I thought that the maelstrom has jumped in. 40 million, not bad. Not a bad build, surprisingly. Next target, we have a incoming Moa. Now, from last video, we've learned that that the Moa can be quite expensive, and I will shoot them because they can be expensive. Also, my vocal cords have died for a second there. My apologies. Sometimes that happens. There's the Moa. Let's quickly yeet the Moa. Could be $500 million. Who knows? That Moa didn't take much damage on the armor. That's suspicious. And it got destroyed. Nice. Let's take a look at the kill. An armor tank. Last time I checked, the Moa was a shield tank. Let's double check. I mean, perhaps they changed stats and now the Moa is actually armor tank. Who knows? Let's take a look. There's the Moa. Yeah, plus 4% shield resistance per skill level. You don't armor tank a Moa. That's not a good idea and not a good build. The Moa is a shield tank. It has really good shield resistances. We have a incoming Punisher assault, an assault frigate. Now let's see if this little frigate will make the same mistake as the Garmur from earlier. Are they going to be using a micro warp against the Apocalypse Striker? That's the question. Let's find out. And yes, they are. Right from the start, they used the micro warp to burn away. Locked on and yeeted. Just like that. Because you don't turn on a micro warp against the Apocalypse Striker. These things will track you. That was a very nice and satisfying kill. Let's take a look at the kill of 38 million. Actually, decent PvP build. I like the build on this assault frigate. It looks really nice. I like the assault frigates in this game. They can be really fun. Okay, well, let's go to the next target. Well, surprisingly, or not surprisingly, another Mauler. Why are these ships going through this system so often? This hasn't been the case for a couple months, and nowadays there's a lot of these ships here. And I know that's a bot, but the sad part is this bot has a better build than 90% of player Maulers that I see. That's the shocking part. For some reason, most of the actual Mauler ships that players.Fly have very bad builds. And this doesn't look that bad compared to the stuff that I see floating around. And that is quite shocking, honestly, when a bot has a better build than an actual player. To date, no idea why that happens. This is a Myrmidon. This was a Myrmidon. Got yeeted pretty quickly. Let's take a look at the kill. 269 million. Really solid. And this is actually a solid build. I like it. Armor command burst module, armor tank, dual armor repairs. That works. Next we have a incoming prophecy. Let's see how long this ship lasts, and they have the Blood Raider nanocore. You know, actually makes me a little bit sad to have to destroy the ship because it looks very nice, but have to do what I have to do. And there goes the prophecy. It was a very nice target. 265 million. Blood Raider veteran nanocore. And the next target we have a Cyclone. And we have a Interdictor. Okay, that's interesting. Cyclone has been destroyed. Let's go after the Interdictor. They survived the first hit somehow, but they did not survive the second one. That was very nice. A double kill. $212 million. A covert ops interdictor, black ops interdictor. Okay, that's interesting. That's sneaky, I like it. And a trailblazer nanocore on this destroyer. And let's take a look at the Cyclone, 242 million. Also really nice and a solid kill. Alright, well, that was a very fun ride with the Apocalypse Striker. I'm actually liking this ship even more now, and I'm pretty sure that I'll be flying it a lot more often. So, with that being said, hope that you enjoyed. Stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.